Hi everyone, my name is Spirelli or just Ellie, and as you might have guessed from seeing me here instead of KOKOStern, or Eyal as I knew him, he passed away. He died at the beginning of the month at home where he wanted to be. Try as I might, I cannot get through this part without crying, so you'll just have to bear with me. We've had some wonderful years together, even though it was obviously way too short. We shared our passions and they really overlapped. He was a wonderful, kind, and uplifting person, and I miss him so much. But I'm not just recording this to tell you the sad news. I'm here to finish a video that he started recording but couldn't quite get done himself. This video is about his passion project, a game he came up with and was working on when he still could. He found some scripts and even some video material, so you'll see Eyal soon. During our time together, we discussed ideas and influences for the game. I was his rubber duck when he was programming. I even did some basic pixel art for him. I'm no programmer, and though he showed me the basics of Unity, I'm mostly here to talk about the concept, not the programming aspects. The working title for his game is Settlement. You walk around your settlement, hire peasants, assign them roles, and grow a few tents into a sprawling village. By distributing resources to your settlers, decide on what gets built and who does what as you explore the wilderness in an attempt to grow and defend yourself from those that will destroy all that you've built. That was his pitch, but here comes Eyal from end of July explaining what he would have liked to do with this. And then me following some scripts and sometimes improvising or going off scripts to explain what settlement was supposed to be.
Hey, my name is Coco Stern, and today I want to talk about the game that I want to make. So I'm a game developer by profession, and most game developers have this passion project in their heads, that they always want to go indie and go ahead and create instead of working on for whatever company. And I have that as well. It's an idea that I didn't really know how to articulate for a very long time. Eventually it kind of came together about 2 years ago, and then I started working on it in my head a bit more seriously, and eventually I started prototyping and actually putting time into the project. And I've been looking for people to join me and help me make this game, and it's been going not great in that regard because it's very difficult to bring other people into your own passion project. This is something that I am very passionate about, and I really want to make this game, and I want to see it come out and be a game, but not necessarily, if I explain what it is to somebody else, they're not necessarily gonna get hooked by it. It's really up to me to show them, and that is why I need to make a prototype that actually works. And I've been approaching that, and it's actually a little bit more work. If I had a little bit more work in me, I could go ahead and do that. But there is one problem that came not so recently, came a while ago, and that is that I have cancer. I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and so I tried to continue working on it, but eventually it kind of came into it came into the realization. I came into the realization that I will not be finishing this game. It's not going to happen for me, most probably. And so I'm not really working actively on this project anymore at the moment. But I want to, in a way. It's very difficult for me, and it's not going to happen with just me. I need help. I need other people. I need other teams. I need a team, basically, of other people that might want to pick it up. And I don't have exactly money to pay. The correct thing to do would be to hire people and just have them work on it. But I don't exactly have that luxury to do that, and I don't know of another way other than just showing it to the world and hoping somebody maybe gets passionate about it as much as I can convey what I want to make. And today that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to talk about this game. I'm going to show you references. I think it will be the best way to do so. Talk about these references. I'm going to actually edit this video, which is something I very rarely do. I usually just do one takes and talk and even in my Let's Plays, everything is just one take and I don't edit. But I'm going to edit in footage from other games and talk about them and explain what is this game that I want to make. Hopefully, that will be interesting. And if you're a game developer, or you know another game developer, or you can just share this video to other people that might want to work on it, that would be awesome. I just want to explain to other game developers. I'm a developer myself, been working for a long time, professionally, getting paid. I know what I'm doing. It's not, there's a lot of people there who just have their passion project and are out of scope and think about crazy things. It's not that. I think this game is very doable. I just need help. I can't do it on my own with the time that I have. I don't know how long I have, actually. That's part of this disease, which sucks. But that's what I want to do today. I want to talk to you about this game. So let's get started, and I'll show you some references, and maybe you'll like it. All right, so, wow, I really am bad at editing, but let's get started. So first of all, the most important reference is Kingdom. You'll notice I'm showing you a video from my own channel from 2013. This originally came out on Newgrounds, and I used to go over Newgrounds games from a game design perspective and sort of review them. I fell in love with the core concept here of having single currency and sort of having like a strategy game with constructing buildings and indirect control of your units. This is, the thing is that there's a lot of issues with this game that I really didn't connect for me. Like the aspect of moving all the way to the left and then you actually have to go all the way to the right if you want to get back is really annoying and just downright not fun, especially when you replay the game, because you can lose pretty easily and then you want to replay it and it's just frustrating to do that. And the enemies being very straightforward, just attacking your walls, which you'll see in a little bit in the video, I think. And some ways that the NPCs also behave. You see now there's the night coming, there's a day and night cycle, and which is a good thing, but the enemies come only at night, and then they just destroy your walls, and you have to defend your walls from behind them, and that's kind of the only thing that how combat really works in this. Kingdom actually saw some success, releasing on Steam and having a few. Let me just jump ahead here to a point where you can see them actually coming in and fighting, I think. Yeah, so it saw some success. It had even some sequels on Steam, but all of these issues persist, if not get worse, in those further installments, in my opinion, and I wanted to solve these issues. For me, the biggest change would be to turn the game from 1D to actually 2D omnidirectional game. Something that has the same mechanics, but it looks and moves around like another reference that I want to show you called Tooth and Tail. So let's check that one out.
Tooth and Tail is a full-on strategy game. Other than the 2D omnidirectional move that we're looking for, it also has a concept of a single character that tells your units where to build and takes up the army to move around. These two ideas, buildings and the army following you, are things I want in my game. There's something to be said about the art and the general setting as well that has a similar feeling to what I want. Less reds though. Note the perspective is something I'm not sure about, but it matters less at this point. We're taking some aspects of a strategy game, but not full on. The goal is to eventually have a hybrid game that feels like it has elements of a strategy game, but isn't a traditional one at all. Moving on to our next reference.
Welcome back to Majesty in a Fantasy Kingdom Sim. It's time to get majestic. Okay, I'll stop. That's terrible.
I couldn't resist putting this in here, but let's get back to script. Majesty is another great example of indirect control. When you place a new building blueprint on the ground, the peasants go build it for you. There's a flag system for the hero and adventure characters. If you want them to explore a section of the map, you put down an explore flag, and given enough money, they will go there. Same goes for an enemy you want killed. Put a high enough bounty on it, and the heroes will go fight. These elements are a bit on the nose for me, as we are going to have a general character and it's going to move around and ask units to do things, but the concept is nevertheless interesting. For the next reference, I couldn't find a script, so here's me guessing how it's important. Don't Starve obviously is another reference with a similar feel for the movement that we're looking for. The 2.5D style with sprites, but not necessarily with this art style, would bring settlement to life. Exploring the map to find different landscapes containing various items is something I envisioned, though as opposed to Don't Starve, you'll start having control of the game the second in which the first base building is finalized, so you won't have to set up base first. Instead, you'll have to balance exploration and base expansion from the get-go. Then there's Don't Starve Together. That lets you experience the game in multiplayer. A multiplayer mode with up to 4 players is something that I want to implement for settlement as well. Playing runs together while sharing the tasks of exploration and base building, and eventually slaying the final enemy. So there's a few references that should explain the basics. I want to make a 2D omnidirectional strategy hybrid. The game's goal is to build up your little village and protect it from outside forces until you are strong enough to go out and destroy them. You do that by both recruiting peasants to build up your home, and by going out exploring the wilderness, gaining gold, NPCs, and discovering all kinds of unique and wondrous things, including the location of your enemy's base. I see the game as a roguelike experience. You have a run that takes up to 1 hour if you don't die beforehand, and up to that point you should be strong enough to go beat your enemies. During runs you unlock additional buildings and units you can recruit and different upgrades to your hero. These you can choose to have in each run. With that explanation, all I can do is show you what I have thus far. The biggest asset in my opinion is the Asana board I've been using to curate my ideas and tasks. This is the Asana board with a general outline of how to progress this project. There's a lot of tasks still in the backlog. But as you'd have to start over, it would also make sense to mark everything that is currently done as not done, but keep the structure. Remember to iterate on this. Nothing is set in stone, but this can help you as a general starting point. I can give you access to this and further material if you're interested. Here's what happened in Unity so far. Sadly, there isn't much to show here, and I'd rather you don't use this. That's the point. Starting from scratch makes a lot more sense in my opinion. But going off script here for a second. Eyal over-engineered whatever he touched, which is why he never reached the prototype stage. He wanted to delve into the programming aspects as well as the world building and the storytelling, and all of those he did. He never really worked on it in a more market-oriented way. I want to show you what he made so far in Unity, so let me just start this up. Here is the settlement and me walking around. You can see a peasant and a deer. Once I put down a coin, the peasant will become a settler, and the settler can then be controlled indirectly by me. For example, I can buy a crossbow and he'll turn into a hunter. Now the hunter has to go out and hunt the deer, and once he does that, he'll get the reward, as there is only a single currency, it's a coin. And once I get close enough to the hunter, he'll then hand over the coin to me. So all of our NPCs will be working out for us, but also very independently. He also set up a building menu with different types of buildings. For example, a fence, which would be the most standard defense system. There's a long way to go from here. And none of it has to happen exactly how Eyal made it happen. So, as per Eyal's wishes, I will not be sharing any previously done code. I hope this explains the general concept. I have more notes from Eyal and thoughts and memories of our discussions that I'll need to sort out, but I didn't want to put it all in here. To recap, Settlement was supposed to be a 2D omnidirectional version of Kingdom with its indirect control and strategic building style, but with a somewhat separate exploration part, which would turn the game into a roguelike, finding and unlocking skills, blueprints, and so on for future runs. Having a great AI with lots of types of enemies and varying behaviors was Eyal's technical focus. The theme he was mostly open about, but he envisioned a fantasy medieval setting. Further down the line, he even imagined some sort of multiplayer, for which the reference game is Lovius in a Dangerous Spacetime, so think chaotic. The game itself was supposed to be built up as an early access title similar to Dead Cells or Slay the Spire, growing a community and listening to the input to adapt the core concept already existing. I don't know how to continue from here. Had Eyal not gotten sick, he, or rather we, would have worked on this together, hopefully eventually with some other people, but we didn't get to choose that option and he did get sick. Through all this time, he still upheld his optimism. As you saw, it was only 2 months before his death when he was still planning to at least be part of this project. Even if nothing ever comes of this, I greatly enjoyed discussing references and ideas with him, seeing his eyes light up while talking about settlement. If this idea does speak to you or somebody you know, you can get in touch with me and I'll make sure you get all available material, and you can also join KOKOStern's Discord hangout to talk to like-minded people. But maybe even more importantly, let this be a lesson to start working on your own passion project while you can. You never know what life has planned for you. As for this channel, this is the last video that's going to be uploaded. Eyal was on here since 2012, and he valued every single viewer and subscriber. He loved your comments and, in these hard times, your support. Thank you all for being there for him, and may his videos continue to bring joy and entertainment. You might only have seen him being, his usual self in his videos, but I saw him before and after recording, and how he sometimes struggled with it, especially talking about the cancer. The important aspect is not how much you struggle with something, it's whether or not you do it anyway. And he did this for as long as he could. I thought about finishing his 2 open Let's Play series, but I decided I'd rather pick up Baldur's Gate 3. Though I've been recommended to play Baldur's Gate 2 first, and I've heard of this YouTuber with great videos on Baldur's Gate 2. If you want to help in a non-game related way, consider donating some money to cancer research or support group. If you know anybody chronically ill, help them, or please also help the caretakers. We caretakers carry a lot of burden, and it sometimes goes unnoticed if you're standing next to the sick. Speaking from experience. Consider donating blood. Eyal got quite some and he couldn't pay it back. Or consider signing up as an organ donor. He was going to be one, but obviously his cancer organs are not quite suitable, so he ended up donating his whole body to science instead. Or, simply share your love and passion with the world. You're bound to eventually get love and passion in return, just like Eyal did. Thank you for watching this. I hope you can all remember Eyal for the person he was and the person he strived to be. And if ever anything comes out of this, or you see a game that reminds you of Settlement, please let me know.